Good morning, traders. Welcome to our London session. We're live in our London room here with something we do every day. And we're also going live in YouTube, and we'll be live on trading.live. So if you want to join these live sessions, today is Monday. We normally do it free on Monday for everybody, which is general public. And if you're seeing this for the very first time and you like what we do, you should go and watch some more of my videos. If you do like it and you would like to join us live on a daily basis, which is live in all the sessions we do about 5 live sessions a day, send me a Skype message. My Skype is in the description, the very top of the description. But I mean, if you find it very difficult to get it top of the description, and here's the Skype. It's MANGAL457. Now, if you don't have Skype and you think it's too difficult for you to download Skype just to get the message to me so that you can learn this stuff is not for you. Because I've had that message from 2 people saying, hey, they send it on Facebook and say, hey, I don't have Skype. I'm messaging you on Facebook and can you give us the details? And I was like, well, go download Skype. Because if you find it difficult to download Skype and send me the message, then you probably don't want to learn this stuff. It's not that easy. It's much more difficult than downloading Skype. So I hope that doesn't come off too arrogant, but that's a fact, right? You have to be willing to learn this stuff. It's a bit complicated, but once you learn it and you understand how it works and how wave analysis is amazing, you wouldn't want to stop. So if you want to know the truth, you can ask some of my traders. I think Friday had a very amazing day in the trading room because of all the success the traders made, and including what Mohammed wrote to us, which was great. I had one of our traders was saying telling us, writing about the success he made, posted in our group. By the way, if you want to read it, our traders can go read it. It's a true story because I've been following his career for a while, from the time he joined. And those are good stories. They're very moral boasting stories, especially for our traders, because if you're struggling, you would look at that and say, you know what? I think I have to step it up and don't just give up. So with that said, let's start. Dollar index. If you've been following me last week and the week before, if you're a regular viewer of my channel, you would know that we think that this thing could turn. I also warned you, and I think I made that very clear, that anyone who tells that this one is going to drop to the bottom without the possibility that it could go back to the top has no idea what they're talking about. Because wave analysis would not confirm the downside with a single impulse. Now, I was very sure it was going to go. I'll tell you, I was very sure. We sold a lot of it, took a lot of sales in that downside. And then it started to go back up. And well, we did buy at the bottom here because we figured out that the correction is going to be bigger. But when the correction really got big, that's when this was a sell setup that became a break even. And then this was a buy. So take that out. Today, what we're looking for is what's going to happen here. We haven't broken the top. This is very, very, very important. So if this becomes a flag that goes and break the top, that would be amazing. We will take this buy. Exit that trade and probably look for the start of the downside, because this could be a correction of its own. If we don't break the top and we come down, we don't have a sell setup as yet, but it could become a sell setup later if you get a flag like this. Right? If we get a flag like that, that would be a sell setup, and we will sell to the bottom to break the low. After which we absolutely will be looking for the buy. Right? Once it comes and tag this low, we absolutely will be looking for that buy and then downside. The downside has not structurally changed on the daily or in the 4 hours. That will not change even if we make 2 or 3 more of these flats and go up. See, here is one example of this one. See, it came to the top, came back to the bottom, and then went up. This is at the top, it comes back to the bottom, it's going to go back up. This will not be the one that dropped to the bottom. That is very, very unlikely. Unless we make a running flat. And what does that mean? That means that, well, you will see a running flat. I don't like to go into this complexity when I'm doing this webinar because traders get confused who do not know wave analysis. My traders immediately understand what I mean when I said, unless it's a running flat, which means it comes, make a flag drop, make a flag drop, make a flag drop, make another flag drop, pull back like this. And then, yes, we are coming to retest the low. Right? Unless this becomes a running flat, but we wouldn't do that. But this running flat will take about a week, so I would be able to tell you about it next week, why we change our view to the downside. But as of now, if I start telling you that, then I have to teach you wave analysis. So what we're going to look for today, and this is the most immediate trade, is a buy setup from the top here. And if you go into 1 hour, it looks like it's making a flag, but that could change really, really fast. Because what you have is a slow move down. A slow move down by itself doesn't mean that it's going to go up. It just means that the market is pretty slow. So you're making small flags, small flags, small flags. And if this is the slow impulse to the downside, which means the first move to the downside is an impulse, but very slow, you don't really have to get the sell in this. You don't have to prove you can, pick the top and bottom. Let it go. If you miss it, you miss it. If you get it, you get it. You shouldn't be, if you were here this morning, then you would try to catch the correction here, then that's okay. But you would try to catch it as a correction of this impulse, right? A buy setup could actually go here in the 15, but you have to be aggressive because any running flat in here will tag you and drag you down. So for safety's sake, put it to the top. And if this thing makes a flag here, which means you want to see a 1 hour flag here, 350 minutes flag in there, you don't want that. You want a 1 hour flag here, something that comes out of this structure. Then by this afternoon in the New York session, we will be selling. So here comes wave analysis to you. Right now, it's a buy setup. Within the next 3-4 hours, that could become a sell. That buy setup can be changed into a sell because right now we're in a big correction. And as of now, it's making a big flat in here until it breaks the top. Actually, I would like it to go and break the top and turn because the downside is so huge. There's so much big trades to the downside that would happen that you don't want to miss that. The top is limited. It's about one more impulse only. It could make another flag and then go make another impulse, and then another flag and make another impulse. But that is everyone is like the last impulse to the upside. So buy setup, we'll see where that goes. Silver, I think it's a sell setup, and you can actually sell this. There's an expanding flat in here, a very small one, which means in a sharp move like that, an expanding flat like this, when it breaks the low, you'll see divergence, and you'll probably watch it go back up in this structure, right? Probably watch it go back up, and it might even break this top. So what we'll be looking for, be careful of this sell here because it would probably just break the low, come back here, it could drop again, and then probably go there. So there's a good chance, or this one might even go through the top there. We would like to see them break the top before they drop. So will it go break the top now? That means dollar index comes down one more, then go up again. That's possible. I could see the possibility of this going and break the top. That is dollar index coming down a little bit in that flat and then going up to make the high, which means this comes here, break the low, and then go back up. That will complete this pattern. Now, can it work its way down from here and that's it? Which means dollar index just go up? Yep, that's possible. We'll get a contracting flat in here. So now that we have a sell set up at the bottom, knowing that it could be a contracting flat, how do you trade this? Well, if you're an aggressive trader, you should be in the trade already. I think if you're an aggressive trader and you saw this expanding flat, I think it's clear it's an expanding flat because of this and that sharp move and this sharp. This sell was a giveaway. So my traders, I'm sorry, my apologies, I couldn't be in there this morning in the Asian session. And I would, for the next 2 or 3 weeks, for the next 16 to 18 days, I will be missing some of the Asian sessions and I'll be coming in late in some of them because my nanny is on vacation. So I will be part-time doing my main job, that is a nanny. And my son is back, he's going to school, so my wife has to take him to school. So basically, just to inform you. So this one here, right, was a good sell. Now, if you miss that, don't worry. If it makes another flag here and you're going to sell this, just be aware when you break that low. Work towards getting a break even should it not drop really far, because it might not drop really far. So take off this one and let's go. And if you're in the trade, then watch it when it breaks the low, because they might just break the low and turn pretty much like this, right? Just break the low and then right back up, right? So how it goes up, we will definitely buy, right? Remember, we bought this, we were trying to buy this because we were thinking that it could just correct a little and drop. This one wasn't really a buy. You'd have to be careful whether you thought that break the top. Some of you took it. I hope it's break even. Now we're going to be watching for this, and we will take this one because we have 1, 2, 3. We don't have divergence, but they will have to correct deep before they go back for divergence. So the deep correction will be good enough to give us a trade to the upside. And should it break out of the structure to there, then that'll be great. So if you're in the sell, good. If you're not in the sell, wait for a good setup or with caution. I would not sell this flat, which means I'll not be putting the entry order under the low, expecting it to drop far. I think it doesn't look like this deep pullback doesn't give me that confidence that they're going to drop far. So let it break the low. And if they make another flag, well, yes, we start selling. But if they break the low reverse, make a flag here, we'll buy. And I think that's the most likely thing what is going to happen. So we'll leave it for now. Gold. Okay, we broke the top and we're still going back up. So you definitely will buy it. We're definitely going to buy this if this breaks, because if this breaks, we're coming back to retest the top. This is a separate flat of its own. We can go with this, right? That's a separate flat there. We broke the top, we came down. Now they'll have to tell us, is that the top of the structure to go down? We didn't break this top as yet. Just like silver, we didn't break the top. But in the difference with gold and silver is gold, we don't have to break the top because we broke the low, right? So this would be a normal running flat. Whereas silver would be a contracting flat because we didn't break. Now, assuming that they're both going to go break the top, then gold is an amazing buy setup. But now this buy is just only to go tag the top and then come down back for the bigger flat. So if this one becomes a buy and it goes there, be careful. You can get this drop and then go back up, making a bigger flat in here and then go. We have an example here. See, came here. If you were buying that, all it did was break the top, come back here, exit the trade, look for this, look for the buy setup. And I think we already have an arrow here showing that. The arrow was way before this happened, that we were expecting that move. So if I'm going to put an arrow here, this is a buy, right? If I'm going to put an arrow here, I would say take it for a possible running flat. Not that it's going to be a running flat, but take it for a possible running flat, something like this. And then go for the sell. Go for the sell. And then we're going to go for the buy. Now, we would all like a running flat because a running flat would be amazing. It would confirm the upside. If we don't have a running flat, then what we're expecting is that, well, it's probably going to come back here and then, it could continue to go. Or it's going to go up. I think basically it's going to go up. So this buy, if you don't get it, forget about it. If it starts to drop from here for the sell, maybe. If it drops from here, we'll sell it. Which means if this drop here, make a flag here, go for this sell to break the low, and then look for the upside. But most likely this small flag will make one more up. So that's one buy, take profit, short trade, very short trade, and then go for the sell. So put it like this. I think that's perfect. We're looking for this. And then the hope is that we break that up and then drop. This would be a good sell too, maybe New York. Euro. Okay, the sell in euro was good. We dropped. We didn't break the low. So the same thing like the dollar index, the low is not broken. So the question is whether this is going to drop one more, break the low. And in the big picture, this is what we're looking at, right? Still possible running flat with a lot of flats inside, right? So this piece here, we were thinking whether we put it with this one as a running flat. It's possible. Well, not necessarily we look at it that way, but let's go with that as a possibility, right? Let's take this out and assume that that is the possibility. This piece and this piece is making a running flat. Then this one would break the low and turn. If it's not, it will break the low and go back up. Right? In any case, it's going to go back up either to make a flat with this piece or to complete the pattern. So should we break the low, we would definitely buy it. If we don't break the low and go back up, then the assumption is that, well, they're making 1, 2, 3. This is sharper than this one. That means we're not just going to make 1, 2, 3. We're probably going to make 4, 5 here. We'll probably even come back here and go back there. This could be the most corrective. Then break the low and then go. We have that in one of those up-down moves. I think we have that pattern where a big flat was made, broke the low and then go back. This is a good example here, where it made a really big flat here, then broke the low and then went up. See, there was a small one here. Yep, there were a few smaller ones also. Very similar to this move. There was a small one here, but this could become a much bigger one. Break the low and then reverse. So if this last move is going to be similar to the first one, that's normal. That's pretty much what you can expect. This big flat, drop, break the low, go back up. Are we doing the same thing here? Possible. We can trade in that range. See, if you know that, if you have the knowledge of how it's going to develop and it starts to do that, then take the trade. So at this point, any flag for a buy is a trade. Go to the 15 CP. We don't really have a flag for a buy, but it could become very soon if this starts making a flag here. Any flag like this would be a buy setup, maybe with bigger flags in play, but buy setup. And the buy setup would be back to the top, which means you can hold a smaller trade. If you can get it to break even, keep it a little longer to get to the top of this. If it does break the low, question is, do we want to sell it to the bottom here? This sell was good, but do you want to sell it here? So I'm going to take off that sell. I'm not sure that that would be a good sell. And then maybe it's going to make a bigger flat here before they drop, something like this before it drops, right? So we'll say this one would be an expanding flat. I think we'll go to an expanding flat on that. So let's wait and see. I would go with possible looking for a buy setup. So we will put it here as wait for a flag to buy. Because this up move tells me there's a good chance they're going to make a flag for the buy. Let's see if we get that. Bang. Same here. That buy would have been a break even. I think there's a lot of time there to close that trade. And then I think we were looking for a sell also. Was news. We didn't sell the pound. I think we sold some other trades, including euro and a few more. So take this off, which ended Friday very well. So put it like this, and we're in this piece. Let's put it low. This is the low. That is the high. We're coming down. This is making correction. Question, would it break the low? Well, it could. And if it breaks the low, then again, the same question, should we look at this as a running flat? I think this is a better running flat than the one in the euro. So this is a better option for a running flat here. Break this low and then go back up. So this trade we'll definitely look for if it happens. Should it go back up, can we buy it? The same comes if you get a flag. Assume it's going to come back and correct a lot of this. If you get a flag here, buy it. But right now it's a sell setup, probably under the low. If you get a flag before that, take the trade to the sell. If it makes a flag here for a sell, take it. But right now it's a sell setup with a flag under the low. Once it breaks this low, get it to positive. So we'll put a sell. That's an active sell trade. Aussie. We broke out, but we didn't break the top. No, we did. We actually tagged it. So could we consider broken? And that means whatever is happening here is either going to go down totally again, which is possible. Drop break this low, which means not from this point that we anticipated, but from this point. Okay, this could be a little different. So either we drop break the low or we make another flat here and go back up, like a bigger version of the flat. Right now, this whole structure is really, really corrective. Like it's very corrective. There are huge flats at the bottom, huge flats as you're going up. So I think there's no way this is going to go break the top. I don't see any possibility of that. So the sell is a good idea. Even if we're making another flat here to go back up, right? Let's say this one, instead of going down, it kind of work its way up here, come back here, and then make a new high. This is a really huge flat in there. Considering you have one here, you have one here, you have this here, you have this bigger one here, then all of this becomes really corrective for the downside. So any sell setup, and we're getting a sell setup here, would be a good trade to take. So you can put an entry order here for a sell. I think I will go with this one. We will try to move that entry order up depending on where we see the next small flag. But it's a sell, and this sell is actually good because if it does drop from there, we're going to break this low. So this trade with risk to reward is very good. And after which, when we break that low, well, we'll probably go back up. Right, once the low is broken, there's a good chance we're going back up to the top. So it all depends on how we would look at this pattern when it's completed. Right now, it doesn't make sense. When it's completed, we'll go back and look at it. So right now, look for a sell setup. That's an active sell. New Zealand. Okay, so the New Zealand dollar, we broke the stop. We broke this stop and then dropped. So we're here, and this is a sell setup because we broke the top. So if you're looking at it like this, take that off. I'll put this for a sell setup here. If you're looking at this, what we have is a move and a big flat, a move up and a huge flat, a move up, a deep correction. The question is whether we put this as a contracting flat. And if we do, then this is the top. And this can drop through the bottom, which means break that low again. If you go into 4 hours, yeah, that's possible. Why not? Break the low again and then go back up. We're in a corrective structure, by the way, the daily. I think that's pretty clear. We're in a daily corrective structure. So breaking the low here and then going back up wouldn't make a difference. You want to see divergence here in the 4 hours. Yep, huge divergence. I think it's clear if they break the low, we're going to go back. What if they're not breaking the low? What if this is a small expanding flat? let's just assume for a second that this is a small expanding flat. They just drop, break this low, and then start going back up. I think it's possible, but it's very unlikely to happen because this up move also has a big flat in it. So what's more likely to happen is that if we break this, we break that low, we're going to end up breaking the bigger low, which is breaking this low. And put a line so we remember where that low is. Should it just break this low here, start to go back up, we'll get a break even or a very small loss. Keep your stop above the top, above here. Don't keep your stop in here. So we could get out for a much smaller loss or break even. That's an active sell. Dollar CAD, I think we have an active buy here now in the dollar CAD. But an entry out of here because this is not very, there's no last impulse in that down move. So you have to put above the top. And that is assuming if they break this top, they can come all the way here, maybe even a little higher. Right? From that point, they'll tell us, are we breaking out of the structure completely? Or we're just tagging the top and then make one more down. And that one more down is possible, right? So when it gets, if and when it gets to this top, we either retest the low or we literally break out. So the trade, the buy for the upside is a good idea. Actually, it's a very good trade. If this worked its way lower, you wouldn't get the buy, but then we wouldn't lose anything, right? So if this is to work its way lower, well, then we need a flag to sell it. We don't have a flag, so that's over. That's a buy setup, by the way. Swiss, that was a buy, break even. This is another buy, probably break even too. Because all we need to do is break this top. All this thing needs to do is go there, break the top, and then drop. Can it break out? Possible. So you can take the trade hoping it break out. Like the last trade you took, it didn't break out, give you break even. Let's see if this one goes. So right now that's a buy setup. Yen. Okay, you do have a buy setup here, but I wouldn't take this trade. I wouldn't take this trade as it is right now. Let them make a bigger correction, even if it goes break the top. Because we're expecting this thing to turn already. And that didn't happen, so we wait. We're also expecting a possible running flat, but not like this, most likely like this. Running flat like that, and then go down again. So now that it's at the top there, the question is, it's still a running flat. If it's still a running flat, then I want this to drop, make a flag, and then we start selling this to the downside. But the buy here is a bad idea. If it's going to be a buy, then let it make a bigger correction. Let them make something like this. And then we go for the buy. Euros. So we completed the majors. For YouTube, I'm going to do some of the stocks. I'm going to do some of the cryptos. And we're going to end the video there because it will be too long if we do everything. If you would like to have access to all of these, if you would like to have my analysis of all these pairs, all the euro pairs, the pound pairs, the Aussie pairs, the CAD, the yen pairs, all of them, all the pairs, then the best thing you can do is join us in these live sessions. The live sessions are much longer. They have more details. They have everything in them. And if you would like to join it, send me a Skype message. Let's go. So we're going to look at natural gas. Natural gas was, this sell should have been off. We had a sell set up, but you should have taken that sell off. It doesn't matter that it dropped. You shouldn't be in that sell because by rule, that's not a good sell. So we have a 1, we have a 2, we have a 3, and we're at the bottom here. This by all means should go back up. Now, do we have a buy setup? There might be a chance that we're looking at this and thinking, well, is that a possible running flat? Right within the structure, is that a possible running flat there for like a 1, a 2, and a 3? Yeah, why not? We might be looking. The only thing in this part is with, this sharp move down here. Well, it's relatively sharp, put it that way, if you take everything into consideration there. So is this going to go back up? And it might be a good buy if it's going back because it will come back to break this top. So if we're going back up, what we'd expect this trade to do is we'd expect it to do this and break this top. Right? So we'll be in something like this. Maybe like that. So you get an up move, you get a pull back, you get an up move, you get a pull back, you get an up move, you get a pull back, you get another up move. And then I think we know we should get a pull back, right? So if we get a flag here for the buy, we'll take this trade. What if it makes a flat? We'll sell. It needs to come here, make a flag, and then this would become a buy setup to break it up. A flag would look something like this, or like this, or like this. But if it should make a flat, which means if this here comes down here and make a flat, we're definitely going for the sell. And the sell would mean retesting and breaking through the bottom of this. So right now, we'll wait for a buy setup. US oil. Okay, we broke the top. If you get a correction or a flat or something, go for one more up. If it starts to drop, make a flag, sell. Right? Because this up move is not as aggressive as we like. So it has to really prove you get a trade set up for a buy here. And I mean something like this. See, that was a buy. So if this actually does that, this becomes a buy. But if it drop, makes a flag, sell. So any drop with a flag is a sell. Any flat is a buy. S&P 500. Okay, we might look for the sell here. And the sell could be limited. It could only be this. And then go right back up. Completing this one as a flat. So there's a sell setup, and then there might be a buy setup this afternoon. I like the sell is valid unless it goes back to the top. The very valid sell if it doesn't come back to the top. Remember, this one went back to the top. That sell was not valid. This one is valid now. So let's see where we are. This could be easily put as a flat. I think you can make a claim, an argument that that being a flat, that goes up there. We had a flat like that here also. So yeah, this one could drop anytime. It's a good sell setup, by the way. US 30. Yeah, if you got tagged, I hope you close it because it did give you the chance to close it right in here. It's still a sell. I mean, structurally, that thing's still a sell, except it's going to be a more complex pattern. Right, that will just be a more complex pattern before we go. Let's see in the bigger picture what it looks like. Okay, if we make a big complex flat there, we'll still go up. So this one should go here. Come back there, go back up, drop here, give you this flat, and then go. So can we sell inside of this flat? Let's go back on the 1 hour and go in the 15. I think we can. You just need this, you need this to go up somewhere. Look for this sell. Look for the buy. And then the sell. So the most immediate trade you will probably get during this go up somewhere is a sell setup. Okay, if you sold this, I think you closed that already. And what is the trade? There is a possibility it could drop one more, but there's a possibility that you're also looking at this. Put an entry here for the buy. So if you're going to buy it, you'll have to put an entry above the last impulse. Put an entry here, should this break out. Should it drop, you can put an entry under this low. So you have two entries you can put in that. I'll put it as both ways and wait to see which one actually works first. Which one get tagged first means you take off the others. Bitcoin, let's see what we have here. This is going good. So it dropped. This would have been a sell that you closed, and or you can still be in, it depends on what type of it. And this is going sideways. Sideways like that doesn't necessarily mean downside as yet, because they might be going sideways there, but then, you know, it could be that this sharp move means a running flat, go there, come back. Come break the low and then go back up. But let's see. I think we will go for the sell. So if we're going to sell this, put an entry above beyond the low. Look for a sell setup here under this low. So should it drop one more? I think they should drop to break this low. That'd be a good sell. Sorry, guys. Let's see. Ethereum. Ethereum looks one more up. This looks like it can go up one more. I think we actually having some flag here. So maybe Bitcoin crawls up some more, but we don't have a setup for this. But if this breaks, you can buy. This should definitely be a buy setup here. Should it break out sharp like this, you want that trade. Should it go slow, you would have to take your time, get it to break even and see. So if this flat is what we think it is, then that could be an up move. If it's coming down lower, we'll take it out. But right now it's a buy setup. XRP. Yeah, that was this. This was this going for the buy when the flag was here. So you'll have to take that out because it went lower. And the buy would probably have been here this morning if I was watching it. The reason we're looking for the buy is we think this is a running flat and it's going to go regular flat, sorry, and it's going to go up. But we didn't break that up. So if you want to buy this, you can put an entry order right here, right now, or you can wait for it to make a bigger flag. And that's pretty easy. They can probably do this. Or even drop a little more, go back up, come here, and then go. So this possibility exists. If you're taking this trade, the idea is that they'll continue to do what they're doing. That is going up slowly. And let's see, we put a buy setup here or wait for a flag for the buy. AVA. Okay, this one I was thinking it's making the same thing, but except that this has a flat for a sell. So there's a very good chance it's not going up now, but this one would go one more down. Yep, one more drop here is possible. If this is going to change to go back up, it has to make a sharp move, make a flag, and then go. So let's see if we get a one more drop, what will it be? It might not drop far, be careful. It might just break this low and go right back up. Because I still see this as an expanding flat. And this whole thing would be a possible next expanding flat. So even if you don't get the buy, don't take this, I'll just wait. Do I think that can drop to the bottom? Structurally, it doesn't look like a complete pattern to drop. And there's not much more to the bottom in any case. Right, so when it breaks the low, you start looking for buy setups. Right, we're pretty low already. And some up moves is definitely coming. So come back here, ignore the sell, think about getting the buy when it breaks the low. ADA. Okay, this could be a complete correction depending on how you look at it. Right, there's a sell setup forming here, which means this would go lower. Yep, that's a sell setup. I think that could work very good. Let's go. So I'm just going to do a couple more sell setup. I think that's clear. BNB, sell setup, this is clear. These are all sell setups for now. Unless we start to get really sharp spikes out of them. They're very small flags inside, and those small flags could still be upside, but because of the small impulses, we will assume that they're all going to make a new drop. This could be a correction of its own, and dropping one more, not a deal, not a big deal. It would be within the structure. Drop one more, break this low, maybe even tag in this low. Okay, let's see. Let's do link, and then we'll do the last one that we have. Link is consolidating here, but it's short term because that consolidation here might break this, but then could go back down like that and retest the low. So if you're going to buy this, you buy them all with caution. Right now, this looks like one more down. This here looks like one more down. Okay, we'll see. One more down is very short. So be careful if you sell that. So, okay, guys, with that said, a quick reminder to all my YouTube viewers, if you want the full content, including what is at the bottom, some of what is at the bottom here, if you trade any of these, send me a Skype message. And don't worry, because there's a lot of traders who are asking how to get, and one or two traders who really don't like that I mentioned how to get into it, because for whatever reason, they think you're actually promoting it too much, and that the whole point of these videos on YouTube is to do promotion. You're not going to learn to trade on any YouTube videos. If you watch this to the end, you just learned something new. Not any YouTube videos will make you a successful trader. These are promotions. These are telling you what we do. This is what we do. This is how we do it. And this is why we make money. Now you look at this and you decide, is it something I like? Is it something I would want to learn from? Is it an accurate forecast? Does it allow me to exit trades possible, for less loss? Does it allow me to keep trades longer? Is the forecast good? If all of that is good and you would like to learn it, then join us. If you find not, then, well, not much I can do for that, right? So thank you very much for your time. Please click a like, leave a comment. And, if you think there's somebody who might need to know